They say betrayal is the one thing marriages can't survive. That infidelity is the ultimate relationship killer. That once trust is broken, it can never be rebuilt. Elvis and Priscilla proved them wrong. Not because the betrayal didn't happen, but because their response to betrayal was so extraordinary that it became the foundation for something stronger than they'd ever had before. If you believe that the deepest love can overcome the greatest betrayals, and that marriages can emerge stronger from their darkest moments, this story will change everything you think you know about forgiveness and redemption. Hit that subscribe button, because we're sharing how one conversation transformed betrayal into breakthrough. July 1975. The rumors had been circulating for months. Elvis was having affairs, multiple affairs, with backup singers, with fans, with anyone who caught his eye. Priscilla had heard the whispers, seen the meaningful looks, noticed the sudden silences when she entered rooms. At first, she denied it. Elvis loved her. They had Lisa Marie. They had a life together. But the evidence kept mounting. Phone calls that hung up when she answered, lipstick on shirts that wasn't hers, perfume that lingered after Elvis came home late. Then came the photographs. A private investigator, hired by a tabloid, had captured Elvis with other women. Kissing, touching, being intimate. The photos were offered to Priscilla first. For a price. She could buy them and keep them secret. Or she could let them be published and watch her marriage explode publicly. Priscilla bought the photographs, not to protect Elvis, not to protect herself, but to protect Lisa Marie. She spread them across their dining room table, dozens of them, clear, undeniable, heartbreaking. Elvis with a blonde backup singer in Las Vegas. Elvis with a brunette fan in his hotel room. Elvis with women Priscilla didn't even recognize. Each photo was a knife to her heart. When Elvis came home that night, the photos were waiting, like evidence in a courtroom, like proof of a crime. "We need to talk," Priscilla said. Elvis saw the photos. His face went white. For a moment, he looked like he might deny everything. Then he sat down, heavily, like a man accepting his fate. "How long have you known?" he asked. "I've suspected for months. I've known for certain for 3 days." "Priscilla, don't. Don't you dare try to explain this away." Elvis nodded. For once, he had no words, no charm, no excuses. "How many?" Priscilla asked. "How many what? How many women?" Elvis was quiet for a long time. "Does it matter?" 7, maybe 8. I don't keep count." Each number hit Priscilla like a physical blow. 7 women, 7 betrayals. 7 times her husband had chosen someone else. Why? It was the only question that mattered. Why would he risk everything? Why would he hurt her like this? Elvis looked at the photos, at his wife, at the wreckage of their marriage. "I don't know." "You don't know? That's your answer? I don't know?" "Priscilla, I know how this sounds. It sounds like you threw away 8 years of marriage for meaningless sex with strangers." "It wasn't meaningless." "Oh, it meant something? Well, that makes it so much better." Elvis realized his mistake immediately. "That's not what I meant. What I meant is, it wasn't about them. It was about me. About you? About feeling, I don't know, alive, desired, important. You didn't feel important at home?" Elvis looked at his wife, really looked at her. "I felt ordinary." This was the truth Priscilla hadn't expected. Not that he didn't love her, but that loving her wasn't enough to make him feel special about himself. Ordinary? "When I'm on stage, I'm Elvis Presley. When I'm with those women, I'm Elvis Presley. But when I'm home, when you're home, you're my husband, Lisa Marie's father, a real person. And that felt ordinary to you? It felt quiet, still, like the music had stopped. Priscilla was beginning to understand. This wasn't about not loving her. This was about addiction, to fame, to adoration, to being worshipped. You're addicted to being Elvis Presley. I guess I am. And being my husband isn't enough of a high. It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. Marriage is ordinary. Affairs are exciting. You chose excitement over commitment. Elvis couldn't argue with this. It was true. So what happens now? He asked. Priscilla had thought about this moment for days. She could leave. She could stay. She could forgive us. She could seek revenge. That depends on you. What do you mean? Do you want to be married? Really married? Or do you want to keep playing at being married while living like a single man? I want to be married. To me, or to the idea of having a wife? This was the question that cut to the heart of everything. I want to be married to you, but I don't know if I know how. It was the most honest thing Elvis had said in years. What does that mean? It means I've been famous longer than I've been married. I don't know how to be a husband without also being Elvis Presley. And Elvis Presley can't be faithful. Elvis Presley is used to having whatever he wants whenever he wants it.
So which one are you, Elvis Presley or my husband?
I don't know. I've been Elvis Presley so long I don't know if there's anyone else left. This broke Priscilla's heart in a different way. Not anger now. Sadness. For the man who'd lost himself in his own fame. There is someone else left, she said quietly. How do you know? Because I fell in love with him before you were famous, when you were just a boy in Germany. That boy is still in there somewhere, under all the fame and adoration and ego. What if he's not? Then we're done. Because I can't be married to Elvis Presley. I can only be married to the man who became Elvis Presley. Elvis understood. She was giving him a choice, fame or family, adoration or authentic love, performance or presence. What would that look like? Being married to the man instead of the star. It would look like fidelity, not because you have to, but because you choose to. What else? Presence. Being here, really here, not just physically. And honesty. No more secrets, no more double life, no more lying. That's a lot to ask. It's the minimum requirement for marriage. Priscilla, I need you to understand something. What? I didn't have affairs because I don't love you. I had affairs because I'm terrified that just being me isn't enough for anyone. This was the deepest truth of all. When those women scream my name, I feel valuable. When they beg for my attention, I feel important. And when I love you quietly, at home, you feel ordinary. I know it's messed up. It is messed up, but it's also understandable. Elvis looked surprised. It is? You've been performing since you were a teenager. You don't know who you are without applause. So you understand why I did it? Understanding and accepting are different things. What's the difference? I understand why you needed the validation. I don't accept betraying our marriage to get it. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to choose, right now, tonight. Choose what? The life of Elvis Presley, international superstar who can have any woman he wants, or the life of my husband who has one woman who actually knows him? And if I choose you, then we rebuild, from the ground up, with honesty, with commitment, with the real you. And if I choose the other life, then I leave. Tonight, and you can have all the superficial relationships you want. Elvis looked at the photographs again, at the evidence of his betrayal, at his wife, at the choice that would determine the rest of his life. If I choose you, will you forgive me? Eventually? Will you trust me again? You'll have to earn that back. Will you love me again? I never stopped loving you. I stopped trusting you. I stopped respecting you. Elvis stood up, walked to the photographs, gathered them into a pile.
What are you doing?
I'm choosing. He walked to the fireplace, threw the photographs into the flames, watched them burn. I choose you. I choose us. I choose the man you fell in love with.
Just like that?
Just like that.
But I need help.
What kind of help?
Professional help. To figure out who I am without the performance. To learn how to get validation from being a good husband instead of being a famous singer.
Priscilla hadn't expected this.
You'll go to therapy?
I'll do whatever it takes.
Even if it means saying no to tours, to opportunities, to the things that make you feel like Elvis Presley?
Even then. That night was the beginning of the hardest year of their marriage, and the most transformative. Elvis entered therapy, individual and marriage counseling. He learned to separate his identity from his fame. Priscilla learned to forgive without forgetting, to trust incrementally, to love the man he was becoming, not just the man he'd been. We're not fixing our marriage, the therapist told them. We're building a new one. The work was brutal. Elvis had to confront his addiction to validation. Priscilla had to process her pain without becoming bitter.
Some days, I hate you, she told him.
I know.
Some days, I want to leave.
I know.
But I'm choosing to stay. Not because I have to, but because I want to see who we become.
Slowly, Elvis learned to find validation in being a good husband, a present father, a faithful partner. It's quieter than fame, he told Priscilla, but it's deeper.
How so?
Fame is loud but shallow. Love is quiet but deep.
Which do you prefer?
I'm learning to prefer depth. The affairs had nearly destroyed their marriage, but the recovery process made it stronger than it had ever been.
We know each other differently now, Priscilla said.
How?
We know each other's worst, and we chose each other anyway.
Is that good?
It's everything.
Rebuilding trust took 2 years. Elvis proved his commitment daily. Priscilla chose vulnerability daily.
I trust you again, she told him one evening.
How do you know?
Because I'm not watching you anymore. I'm just loving you.
What's the difference?
When you watch someone, you're looking for them to fail. When you love someone, you're believing they'll succeed.
Years later, they would both say the affairs were the worst thing and the best thing that happened to their marriage. Their experience taught them that betrayal doesn't have to be the end of love. It can be the beginning of deeper love. Not all marriages survive infidelity, they would tell other couples, but the ones that do become unbreakable. Elvis never strayed again, not because he couldn't, but because he finally understood the difference between being wanted and being loved. Thoughtful. Those women wanted Elvis Presley, he would say. Priscilla loves the man who happens to be Elvis Presley. Curious. And which love means more? Emphatic. The love that sees past the performance to the person. Elvis and Priscilla's story teaches us that redemption is possible, that marriages can survive betrayal, that love can overcome the greatest failures. But only when both people choose the hard work of rebuilding. Only when both people value the relationship more than their individual comfort. This powerful story of Elvis and Priscilla proves that the deepest love can overcome even the greatest betrayals, and that marriages can emerge stronger from their darkest moments. If their journey from betrayal to breakthrough inspired you, please subscribe to our channel and share this story with anyone who believes in the power of forgiveness and redemption. Let us know in the comments about second chances that changed your life, because sometimes our greatest failures become the foundation for our greatest successes.